New this morning, the Grand Rapids mother whose child ate crack cocaine is back in jail. That information coming from online records. Stacy Gatlin was arrested yesterday. She's being held as a material witness in a case. Now, she'd just been released from custody earlier this week after being arrested for prostitution. Back in March, Gatlin was charged with second-degree child abuse and contributing to the delinquency of a minor after her toddler son ate crack cocaine while in her care. She's being held on $10,000 bond in this latest incident. Breaking now out of Kent County, police in Grand Rapids are investigating a stabbing that happened at a house party in the 1000 block of Crosby. Police say the victim was stabbed in the stomach and was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. While police were at the house, another man jumped from the roof and ran off. Police used a dog to track him. We are told he was arrested for trespassing.
Also has this leatherette back on the back, which is a big trend for this season as well. So it's kind of fun.
Well, here's the question. You get photographed in that, it goes on Facebook. How do you wear it again without people saying I've already seen it? A family in Portage has been reunited with their teenage daughter. The girl was found in the woods more than 24 hours after she went missing. 16-year-old Marissa Berry walked away from her home Thursday afternoon. Investigators said she suffers from depression and hadn't been taking her medication. Yesterday afternoon, she was spotted by utility workers. She was leaning against a tree near a cul-de-sac about a mile from her house. She was alert and was talking and was taken to the hospital for observation. We spoke with her stepfather, who spent the night searching for her. It's been more than a week since Talika Patrick disappeared from Kalamazoo. Now her family is pleading for the public's help in finding her. As police in the Kalamazoo and Indiana areas investigate her disappearance, her family is hoping somebody recognizes her picture. They tell us she's lived and worked in Kalamazoo since late June. The 30-year-old was last seen on December 5th when somebody dropped her off at her car in the Borges Hospital parking lot. That's where she works. That same night, her car was found abandoned along I-94 in Indiana. On December 6th, police say Patrick did not show up for work and was reported missing. As word of her disappearance spreads on social media, her mother says this is completely out of character. Hi, Mike. According to Governor Rick Snyder, 1 in 13 kids, or roughly 2 children in every Michigan classroom, have a food allergy. Now the governor has signed a law requiring schools to keep at least 2 EpiPens on site to help those kids in case of an emergency. When an allergic reaction hits, the child can deal with stomach aches, swelling, and breathing problems, and something needs to be done quickly. That's where the pens come in. They provide a hit of epinephrine, which sends a rush of adrenaline and boosts blood flow in the body. We spoke with a Grand Rapids public school nurse as well as an emergency room physician, and both say the EpiPen requirement is a good thing because they're seeing more and more kids dealing with allergies in recent years.
Just numbers-wise, anecdotally, since I started my career, it seems like a lot more allergic reactions come in kids that are younger and younger. And I don't think the medical community has figured out why exactly that is the case.
There's just a lot of more allergies that we're seeing with our students than we have in the past. I don't know if that's something that's just our district, but I would imagine it's probably something that's common many places.
GRPS says they've had epinephrine on hand for about 5 years now. They're going to use an instructional video to help teachers learn more about allergic reactions going forward. And the school system has already stopped serving fish and nut products to avoid any potential problems. Live in the studio, Tim Doty, Fox 17 News. Mike, this is an absolute nightmare for Target and for the shoppers who used a card, credit or debit, to buy anything at a Target store between Black Friday and last Sunday. Around 40 million people could be at risk in what is the second largest credit card breach in U.S. history. It's believed that around 1,800 North American Target stores were affected. The card scanners were hacked and information stored on the magnetic strips was stolen. That includes names, card numbers, expiration dates, and the 3 or 4-digit security codes. Cybersecurity experts say the stolen information is likely already being used to create fake cards and make purchases. Now the U.S. Secret Service leads the investigation to find the people responsible who likely are outside the U.S. in places where there's little or no repercussion for the crime.
All the big crimes come from offshore because there's almost no penalty of being caught. There's no penalty of going to jail. And so if you live in some parts of Russia or some other countries, the FBI or the Secret Service is never going to be able to get their hands on you. You can make a lot of money with very little risk.
If you shopped at Target in that time period, check your credit card statements, check them often. If you see anything suspicious, call your credit card company and also call Target. And if you're worried, even if you don't see anything out of the ordinary, you could always call your credit card company and ask to be issued a new credit card number. Live in the studio, Tim Doty, Fox 17 News.
And put everybody there.
Less is more, you say. We talked about that going with the parties, but can it also be true with buying gifts? You said, we were just kind of discussing in the commercial, when somebody tells you exactly what they want or the list is so long, does it rob you of the joy of giving the gift? Morning, Mike and Sarah. He'd been stationed at Guantanamo Bay, and his daughters thought he'd be home today, but Chief Warrant Officer Ryan Bansimer came home on Tuesday for one heck of a surprise. He wanted to meet his girls in the principal's office at school. He wanted them to think they were in trouble, but the staff at Southeastern Elementary School in Hastings decided to go a step further and surprise him. Bansimer was led into the school gym where he found hundreds of kids waiting. It was an assembly, and as you saw, Selena, Lauren, and Kay Bansimer might have needed a second to process what they were seeing. Then they ran up to hug Dad.
My mom told me this assembly was going to be for outdoor sledding, but I had no idea it was going to be my dad.
Absolutely amazing. I've missed so much of their lives over the last few years with deployments and training. It's just great to be back to catch up.
Now, according to the kids, even though they didn't get to go sledding, they are going to go sledding with Dad. They're also going to play video games, have dinner, and just generally have fun over the holidays. Live in the studio, Tim Doty, Fox 17 News.